Good morning and welcome to the Construct Ed and RoofersCoffeeShop.com online learning series. This is our first presentation, part one of a four-part course on Are You Ready for Software, focused specifically on marketing. I'd like to share with you the upcoming courses that will be happening. On May 18th, we'll be talking about websites. On May 25th, email marketing. And on June 1st, social media. But today, we're going to talk about, are you ready for software? My name is Heidi Ellsworth. I've been in the industry for a little over 23 years. I've worked with Malarkey Roofing, EcoStar, Carlisle, and just recently, Eagle View Technologies. But one of my favorite things is the company I started, HJE Marketing, where I worked with contractors, distributors, manufacturers throughout the roofing industry. And just recently, I founded HJE Consulting Group, and we work with contractors across the country on talking about these type of topics for sales and marketing and how technology can help. I'm also very proud to be a partner in RoofersCoffeeShop.com, who's a sponsor today. And I do consulting regularly for NRCA, National Roofing Partners, and FRSA. So thank you so much for joining us today. And let's get started to see if you're ready for a software or a software change. I wonder, to some of you, does this office look a little familiar? This is the type of thing that we see regularly. We have papers among papers and files stacked on files. And so for many companies, they know that it's time to get that very precious data into some sort of database. We need to talk about that today. It's a cultural shift when you bring software into your business. I've worked with many contractors who realize that processes change, that going from paper to digital to the cloud is hard on employees. So you really need to be prepared for that type of cultural shift with your company and understand your goals. Are you ready for growth? Do you need that type of technology to help enable productivity and long stability? And how are you going to take it paper to electronic? And what are your customers going to think? So as you work through, and as we talk today about software and bringing it into your company, just keep that in mind, that the cultural shift is a major part of changing and starting with new technology. As you look at it, one of the first things you want to think about is team considerations. From your executive office to the rooftop to HR and accounting and your sales and marketing folks, you're going to want to think about what do they need. And you're going to need to get their buy-in. What can help them do their job better? Those are the type of things that make a difference. And they're all going to need something different, but at the same time, they're all going to need that one place where they can all communicate. So bring your team together, talk to all the different areas of your company as you start to figure out this change, whether it's bringing on new technology or updating and going to a different technology. And along the same lines is your equipment. Many of you probably have servers or desktops right now. You need to look at how is working in the cloud. If you decide to go with a cloud-based software, how's that going to work? And do you have the equipment that your employees need in order to make it function at its highest productivity? Do they have laptops? Do they have tablets? Do they have phones? Do they even have printers in their trucks? What do they need in order to really make this new software work for higher revenues and better productivity? You also want to think about your customers. I don't know about all of you, but I have had some experiences lately with customer portals, namely doctor portals, and it hasn't been the nicest experience, and it really has put me off. So my question to you is it easy to use? And really, that's your question to your vendor. Whatever softwares you are incorporating into your business, if they touch your customers, if your customers, whether it's through portals or different types of invoicing or different types of communications, how does that affect them? And is it easy to use? Does it improve the experience? And does it improve efficiencies? Because in the long run, if it doesn't, then it's not worth it. So you want to find the technology, the software that will help improve experience and improve efficiencies, and understanding that it will build strong communications, but there's going to be some potential hand-holding. And that's okay, as long as you can see the long run that it will be better. And these client portals are a differentiator. I'm seeing it regularly where through building owners for commercial roofing contractors are using portals, and it makes a difference in the communication and the experience. And I'm seeing them now for homeowners also, contractors using portals where they can watch the job and see what's happening. So there's a lot of great things there, but this is part of your considerations and as you're thinking about what software to bring on, what to use. And it's a commitment. So as we talked about, you need to get employee buy-in. If you don't have your employees using this software or making that transition, you're going to have a lot of confusion. If you have half of your team using paper and the other half using the software, the communication is going to break down and your customer communications will break down. So be sure that you get that employee buy-in and that you're committed to your employees with getting them training. Don't think you can just throw it out there and that everybody will just get it. Maybe some will, but a lot of them won't, and they just won't use it. So you want to be sure that you commit to the training that's needed, to the service from the vendors, that you are able to continually service that software and do the upgrades if necessary, or the integrations that make your business work and make the software work for your business. Talking about those considerations, really what we're looking at is overall software. What I would like to talk about today is picking a CRM, and that is a customer relationship management software. It's a cloud-based software. There are many products out there, and especially in the roofing industry, there are very good CRM platforms, but they aren't for everybody, and they're different. Software will work for different types of businesses. So as you get ready to pick this CRM, you need to figure out where you're at right now and what you need. Basically, with a CRM, that's the foundation of your contact management, of your customer management. So you want to have something that's going to work for your business model. Are you residential? Well, then you need to look at a residential based CRM that is really good working with homeowners. Are you commercial? You need to look at a commercial base, something for service and maintenance, some for re-roof. You need to look at what they can offer you to make your customer, your building owner experience good. Or are you doing insurance work? That may be something totally different that you need in order to work with insurance companies and also working with the homeowners during disaster type situations. So take the time to kind of sit down and really look at that. Now, you may be all three, or you may be a couple of those. So you may need to really figure out what's more important, or is there a software out there that works for a combination contractor, someone who's doing both residential and commercial? And there are. Today, I'm not going to recommend any certain software or CRM, but I am going to give you a lot of questions to ask, which is the most important, and a lot of things to think about as you start getting ready to pick that CRM. One of the things you want to look at too is the technical ability of your employees. Is it easy to use? Again, it goes back to that buy-in. Is it something that makes their jobs better, makes the customer experience better? And how does it work with all of the different departments? How does it work with marketing, accounting, project management? Those are the types of things that you'll want to think about way before you start any installation. Also, evaluation. What is the relationship with the vendor? That's important. You know, in this industry, in our roofing industry, we care about relationships. We want to work with people we like. So take the time to meet these vendors. Trade shows are a great place to really go around and look at all the different software companies. Get to know them. How does it feel? Do you feel like there's someone who's going to support your business? And talk to other contractors. You need references. That is so important. In fact, as a consultant for NRCA, I have the pleasure of working with contractors across the country, and we are able to connect contractors in a way that allows them to find out how others are working, what they're doing. I have one contractor who is looking to move from residential to commercial and doing service and maintenance. And we're able to connect that person, that contractor, to a contractor in a totally different city where he and his employees can go visit and see how it works. It can save a lot of heartache and bumps later on because you can see what they've already been through and how it's working for theirs, and if those systems match. Also look at needs versus wants. What you need right now, what do you need to get started? And talk to your vendor about this, because if you try to do the whole enchilada, across the board, what's going to happen is you're going to be overwhelmed, your employees are going to be overwhelmed, and your customers are probably not going to be as happy as they could be. But by doing what you need, starting with the basics, and then growing, bringing in integrations, bringing in different modules, adding on different services through that software, you can grow into it, and it becomes very sustainable for you and your employees. And then that really leads in, does it work for you? Is it going to work with the processes? And you're going to have to make some considerations in order to fit into the software, and the software should make considerations to fit into your process. Lastly, I've talked about price. And as you can tell, it's last, because this is something you don't want to make price a determining factor. You want to get what's right for your business, what works for your employees and customers, and then look at price. So make all the other considerations first, and then really kind of figure out where the price point you want to be at. Now, with CRM, basically, you're going to have all your contacts. You're going to have all your contact management, names, phone numbers, emails, history, all that good information. And you'll be able to email from that. You'll be able to communicate. But some CRMs will also have project management. Some of them might have estimating. Some of them may have accounting. A lot of them will have lead tracking and marketing capabilities. You need to ask about those different type of functions in that CRM. And if they don't have them, how do they work with others? How do they integrate? And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we move on, but you really want to kind of figure out how this all bundles together, how the systems speak to each other, or otherwise you'll have some frustration. And you want to look at where that you want to go with that CRM. Where do you want to be down the road? What software do you already have? And what do you think you're going to need in the future? And then bring all that together and really work at making sure they talk to each other, that they integrate. Okay, let's go over some important questions as you're looking at this software. One of the biggest ones is secure data storage. Data is the gold of today's world. It is what we all want. That data is precious in that we know what our customers are doing, what their history is, what they like. That type of data, you want to make sure it's secure and no one else can get to it. So ask those questions about security. And is it scalable? Will this software grow with your company? Multiple locations, number of users. How will it grow with you as your company grows or doesn't grow? And does that vendor, are they open to contractor-driven development? Meaning, are they open to your suggestions? You know roofing, you know your business, and are they going to be able to work with you on ideas that maybe they haven't thought of? You know, there's many software companies that have excellent roofing experts on staff, and then there's some who don't. And so you need to ask those questions and figure out that relationship to get the type of services, the type of features that you want. Also, is it going to streamline your company processes, or is it going to make it worse? So really take the time. That's really looking at references with other contractors. And you want to be able to eliminate repetitive data entry. One of the things that I talk about with this repetitive data entry is take the time to also talk to your distributor, talk to your manufacturer. They have some great systems out there today that will allow you to use your pricing, allow you to be a part of the system that stops, you get online ordering, so it really stops that repetitive data entry. Or maybe you're getting the measurements up front, and then it flows into a proposal, and then it flows in with the pricing, but it all flows together so that you don't have to be constantly re-entering and taking that risk of transposing the information or the data, which we all know happens. And so in the end, really by having these integrations, by having these really strong processes, you're going to see higher efficiencies and better organization. So you want to ask about that when you talk to your vendors. Some key features of a CRM, obviously contact management. You want to be able to contact your customers. You want their history, their data. You want to keep track of them. And many of the CRMs will have job and project management. They'll have task management. And because this is cloud-based and you have your employees looking at it from all different types of devices and all different types of places, it should be able to give you that ability to share calendars, to see history at many users. You can all be working on it and seeing the same dashboards. So you have strong communications. For your sales team, how's tracking and reporting? Does that CRM offer it, or is there an integration to another type of software that will work with it, or is there another module that will be an extra cost? These are the types of things, whether it's tracking, lead management, project documentation, you want to make sure you kind of understand what comes with it, what's added later, or how it integrates. And obviously, especially for sales and for everything really, you want mobile integration. You want to be able to update offline, right? So if you're salespeople out there, they can put in the information, and then when they hit the Wi-Fi zone or hit the cell tower, they're able to automatically have those updates go up. Good customer communications, possibly a customer portal. And think about too, some of the e-commerce and getting signatures that really helps your sales team close that deal in the field on an iPad or on a phone. So it's all electronic and it's instantaneous. Same thing with project management. Again, talk to your project managers and ask them what's important to them. Estimating, reporting, budgets, tracking jobs, work assignments, again, purchase orders and pricing. These are the type of things that maybe you don't need up front, but you will want them later down the road, or you'll need them later down the road. So make sure your project manager is involved and you're asking these questions. Either the CRM has it now, which would be a lot, or although some do it, or it's something that you can integrate or add on as you grow. Some of the advanced features, and some of these are going to seem not so advanced, but importing contacts. You may think, well, of course, it's a contact management software. It's going to have to import contacts, but sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes it takes a tremendous amount of work to get everything in the right format, to make it happen, to get those contacts into that CRM. Ask about it. Ask how that works. Can they pull from the Outlook? Can they pull from Excel? Can they pull from maybe you already have a software and you need to transfer it. How does that work? Make sure you understand it. And then again, ask about integrations. Will it integrate with QuickBooks? Will it integrate with software you already have, or with other cloud-based software, Google Calendar or Google Maps? And definitely ask what their integrations are within the industry. We have some great aerial imagery and measurement companies out there. Do they integrate into the CRM on weather or pricing? There's a lot of different things on as you grow, how's it all going to fit together? And then we talked about the culture and making that cultural shift, but there also should be some give and take in that this software, and especially in the advanced features, should be able to give you some customization to fit your processes. So customizing it for portals, customizing it for your workflow, whatever you need, that should be there, and they should be able to work with you on that. Again, storage we talked about earlier. And then data availability and export. This is very important. What we talked about before, your data is precious. So make sure that you have the availability to download, to export, to back up your information as often as you want to. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever works for you, make sure that that works for your vendor and that you are able to have that backup on site where you know you always have your data and it's never going to get lost. So we talked about relationships, and relationships, I think, it's just critical. It's critical for all of us, and I know how critical it is in this industry. So you need to ask about support. How are they helping you with those automated backups? How's that working? What are the feature requests? Are you able to ask for changes? So we talked about contractor-driven development. What can they do to help you make changes or to customize it to fit your systems? And what kind of support? I mean, this looks like a nice customer service crew here, and that is really what you want. You want someone you can talk to who knows you, who you have a good relationship, or your employees have a good relationship with. And then you want to make sure that you get training. You don't want to leave your employees just figuring it out by themselves. And many of these great softwares in our industry offer excellent training, whole onboarding that really helps you take it and start out right. So ask for that, ask what they do, and make sure they have really good documentation. Are there FAQs? Are there user guides? What can you get to make sure that your employees have everything they need to make this successful? So we talked a little bit about this, and I just want to touch on this, but that uploading information is critical. I've worked with many contractors, and I have seen huge banks of filing cabinets with precious information in it. So whether it's a filing cabinet or card files, make sure that you are getting that information out and you are able to get it into the CRM. That may mean temporary workers, it may mean summer interns, it may mean, just really giving your employees that opportunity to take the time to do it right. But that information that you have already is critical that get into the new software. Outlook, I just was talking to a vendor the other day who said, oh yeah, no problem. We'll just be able to go through your Outlook, pull all the emails and information out of there and upload it. Those are the kind of things you want. Documents, if you have lists, directory lists, how is that going to get uploaded? And accounting. For a lot of contractors, their information is housed in the accounting department. And that's where their name, their address, their phone number, their email is. How do you get it from accounting into that CRM, and how do those two work together? So ask those questions, talk to your team about it, talk to your employees to make sure that you have those ideas and everything else we've talked about kind of in place so that you have good questions and good ideas of where you're going. So as you talk to these different software vendors and pick out your CRM, you'll be able to get what works for your company. At the end of the day, why would you have a CRM? And that CRM, like we talked about before, is all about data. It's about being able to track and keep your customers for a long time. Long-term relationships, that's what matters, especially in roofing, because if you're doing multiple trades, they may need a roof this year, they may need windows next year. If you're doing commercial, they may need service and maintenance this year, a re-roof next year, and solar the year after that. You need to be able to attract these customers to your company. You need to be able to have their information and then be able to convert and close them by using that information to communicate with them effectively, to be able to understand their needs and be able to take action. And at the end of the day, this CRM, this customer relation management software, what it's going to do, it's going to keep you in communication with those customers, whether it's through email campaigns, whether it's through your social media, whether it's through event invitations, or just sales calls. This is where you will keep all that information and be able to make very strong, successful sales calls and keep that ongoing long-term relationships. Really, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to having the technology, the presentation, differentiate your business, empower your employees to get happy customers. With that, you can really take your business to the next level with this technology. So thank you very much for joining us today. If there's any questions, we can take that. Otherwise, this will end the webinar.